through YouTube, Megan. You're there somewhere. I know you are. Well, Jason, get your ass back to Crystal Lake. Jesus, your face. I was watching YouTube the other day. I was looking at a cooking show that I like to watch every once in a while because I am inventive. I'm trying to make a pumpkin pie. And there's demonetization because you say goddamn or fuck. Have you turned on FX recently? Have you watched American Horror? They say fuck cut lips all the time.
Bum bum bum, bum bum bum. We got fucked in our butts. Oh my god.
That's basically this movie. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike. He's Jay. Jigsaw. It's a weird little movie because you saw almost nothing about it.
I'm all that is man.
Thanks for noticing. You saw almost nothing about it. They didn't release it for critics, and I thought, going in, I had no idea what to expect. The trailers, the first trailer was like, oh, that looks like maybe they put some effort into it.
The revamp.
It looks kind of good or whatever, but then later trailers I saw, I was kind of like, I don't know about that little fucking asshole right there.
It's kind of like...
He looks like he smells like potatoes.
It was kind of like, you know, if you saw promos of like Sting returning, and you're like, Sting's coming back, and then he comes back and he has a fucking beer belly, and he's like, what's up? He's like, I mean, look, Jigsaw... oh my god. Like, I wanted it to be good, but I didn't know for sure if it was going to be good walking into the theater. And then there was a darkness that came over me when I went into the theater and I saw nobody there in our little theater.
Literally
like,
alone.
I was like, so is fucking Pigmask going to come up behind us and be like, do you want to watch a movie? I'm like, I know.
Completely alone
in
this theater. So actually, at the beginning of the movie, I was actually pleasantly surprised. It starts off with an action scene, and it looks like there's a little bit of money involved.
Yeah, it was all right.
And I'm like, okay, well, that's step one.
I was like, Daniel Craig?
You go a little bit further, and the first trap is revealed, and it's pretty good. It's pretty all right. It seems like typical Saw, but actually it seems okay. There's a little bit of tension. You're like, oh, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
How do you get out of this? They get through that trap, go to another one, and I'm almost like, dude, this movie walks into a fucking, like, plate. Like, you ever see those YouTube videos where someone's, like, running and they just walk into a plate glass window, like, oh, fuck!
Oh, shit, that was a plexiglass.
That's basically what this movie does, because it starts off good, it starts off entertaining, it's nice to see Saw back. They put a lot of CGI into the opening of the Jigsaw, and it's entertaining at first, and then it just walks into a fucking window.
You know, it sucks because Tobin Bell actually came back for this piece of honky poopy shit. And we didn't get...
The honky poopy shit.
He's one of the... Tobin Bell's actually a really good actor, and I love and his portrayal of Jigsaw is really well done. I mean, he's an amazing actor in and of itself, but as a villain, he's great. But it just feels like everything, even the plot, the story, after like maybe the first 20 minutes, you're like, I've been here before, I've seen this kind of shit before, it's not going to go anywhere, it's going to do the same kind of bullshit M. Night Shyamalan ending, and it's not... Like, maybe you, even early on, you could, like, maybe guess. You're like, that guy's way too nice of a dude not to be the guy. Like, he's just way too nice of a guy, and he's got a really tragic backstory, and you're like, it would make sense. The thing about the traps, even, not that they were that bad. I mean, they weren't terrible, but I've seen better. I mean, I've had better, Barbara. But
I'm recovering from a bad sexual episode I had last night.
You're young, it'll happen. But it was just, I don't know what it was. Maybe the traps felt forced in some ways, or they felt like generic, you know, I'm just going to do this shit over and over again. Like, it wasn't... I'm not saying we want gore, but we want gore. We want something creative and new and different and nasty.
First piece of evidence is this bag of turds right here, and that's the fact that there wasn't enough traps in the movie. Dude, it shows crazy traps, and you get old bucket heads in there. Old fucking bucket heads.
I just felt like I was watching Iron Man 1.
But then there's not enough. Like, there's like...
It didn't go anywhere.
The whole middle of this movie, I'm going to use a reference you used before, it's got that soggy diaper syndrome.
Soggy diapers.
It's just laid heavy with just shit and characters you don't care about and bad fucking acting.
That's like if you have a kid and you're like, I mean, I just changed their diapers, seriously, honey, and then you're like, hey, okay, she's got some Hershey sickles in it. So, I mean,
look at this, Steven.
She has pooped her pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
it's so fucking the worst sin this movie creates is that it gets so goddamn boring.
It really is boring.
Like characters you don't care about. Like I get Donnie Wahlberg in a fucking JCPenney suit acting like he's angry, and like the sequels, those were what they were. But this comes back out and it does that on a whole new level.
Wait a minute. Must be Armani. Oh, it's JCPenney. Well, at least you wear it well.
Arizona Bay.
At least you wear it well, sir. So, but the thing about Donnie Wahlberg is, you know, when Donnie Wahlberg was one of the main guys in this franchise, his charged kinetic attitude, the way that he was really, trying to embrace this role, and he was trying to find his kid and stuff. And
even that was bad.
It was bad, but it was at least believable. He was beating the shit out of Jigsaw to get to his son because it was his son being kidnapped. Yeah. It made sense. There was elements in this that was just like, what the fuck? Like, dude, the main detective dude in this is awful. I mean, he's alright sometimes, he's funny in some way, I guess, but he's the carbon copy of a kind of rundown, I'm kind of a bad guy, I'm kind of a good guy from Dark Blue, Kurt Russell detective. And then you also get you get one of the worst acting performances of all time with that fat dude that gets caught, and the one with the leg trap.
Yeah, the main guy, you see him in the trailers because he's like, I'll confess, this is messed up. And he actually says fucked up in the movie, but he's god awful. But no, that one good thing about the movie is they do the gore right. Like, the gore is done
good, yeah.
really, really well. There's a couple gory scenes that just really make you, and honestly, the first 15-20 minutes of the movie was like, oh shit, fuck, face. There's a palpitating face situation. It's nasty.
That's the only...
And I'm thinking, this could be good. Like, this could actually be good. And it's like, at first, nothing crazy happens. It's like when you have sex with someone who turns out to be a fucking crazy person.
I think it's like when you have sex with someone that turns out to be a god.
No, eventually they're gonna take a giant dump on this franchise and everything it meant. But for right now, it starts off good, and then it just gets really boring and just like awful and just... God, like I literally, like, we both fell asleep. I think multiple times. I sat the fuck up to stay awake, and my face hit the fucking chair in front of me. Like,
I felt like
gang.
I felt like I was doing micro naps, like kind of like the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, and he was like, "Give me the Hypnocil."
It's just so fucking boring and stupid and poorly acted.
The thing is also the most memorable death thing that I could see or even remember from this piece of garbage, shitty juice that I even smelled, was that it was the acid scene. The acid scene, when you mentioned a little bit about it, that was a pretty cool death scene. That was a pretty awesome death scene. The apprehension and the tension as they're being dragged to these saw blades at one point was pretty good. But again, it just really doesn't go anywhere. Now, I will say, I was thinking, I don't know why I was going to... When that acid scene happened, I was like, you had the Gold Star Chili #3, didn't you? He's like, you never have Indian food before.
That's what it does, though. The thing about the whole movie as a whole is that, like, it felt like it ran out of money more than anything else, because you get some cool stuff in the beginning. Like I said, you feel like they put a little bit of money into it. The traps are kind of cool, and then when nothing happens, but like you guys know the characters from the Saw movies, like the detective and this person and that person that are just fucking awful and boring and terrible, and then they intersperse them with these crazy kill scenes. Like in this, when it hit the middle of the movie, that's all you got was the boring, terrible JCPenney suit wearing motherfuckers for like half the fucking movie. And then what this movie tried to do was it tried to grab you back at the end with the dun 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 dun.
I love that song. The music's
terrible
the best
twist,
part.
fuck my face.
The music's the best.
I eat bis, gets with gravy.
You
I don't
piss.
know where to go with this song. Would you like to touch my
pieces of shit for breakfast?
No. But no, the music starts and they try to do this big twist, and instead of like, for a second I was like, oh, that's kind of, oh, you took a giant dump on everything that is Jigsaw.
Did you just grab my ass? Did you just grab my ass?
Everything you thought was going to be like, how are they going to explain this? How are they going to explain this? How are they going to explain this? They fucking Jason Part 5'd you. It's not even what you thought it fucking was.
Yeah,
it's a trick. I didn't see it coming.
But
it was still a piece of shit in my hand.
I think we hadn't had nap time a few times, which is hard. I mean, it was that bad. I mean, you couldn't help it. Maybe some of you astute, awesome, sexy subscribers out there might have even been able to be like, hey, I know who the killer is, and I'm guaranteeing you it's not exactly who you think it's going to be, but I know who the fuck it is. But either way, look, at the end of the day, it's a generic piece of garbage shit at the very end of the movie. That's really what sells it off as another whatever Saw movie. They might as well just embrace the fact that Saw should have died with the first one. I like 2 in a way, but Saw 1 was always the best one. It should have just died there. And if they're not going to make it die there, then just create elaborate, cool death traps. And because people go and see Final Destination now just for the death scenes. They don't even give a shit about the story. There was a story in Part 5 about roller coasters. I don't care.
Everybody's always looking forward to the twist and the surprise, which they give you that in this. But here's the thing, like, it's just so bad. They try to take and I remember in like Part 3 or whichever it was, it gets hard to follow, but at some point in the franchise, they tried to pass the torch in a way, and everybody got kind of pissed. Let me tell you this: the way they tried to pass the torch in that movie was 17 fucking million goddamn times better than it was in this fucking movie. It's like, imagine Sean Astin being dipped in baby oil and dipped into the fountain of youth and coming back kind of fucked up but weird and also really fucking boring. And that's where they try to pass the torch to. The way they try to, the person that they pin this franchise on going forward is the most terrible fucking boring goddamn acting piece of just boring Walmart generic shitty. Where'd you get this guy? He probably worked at fucking Sir Pizza.
No, they got that guy from the Men's Warehouse. You're gonna like the way you look. I guarantee it.
God.
He did look like a meteorologist that got laid off.
He should have been asshole number 3 in like an old school part 4.
That's what I'm saying. He looks like a meteorologist that got laid off at a third-rate fucking weather company. But anyway, yeah, the guy that and his little speech, it went on forever. Like I'm like, dude, do you just like to hear yourself talk? You're not that impressive, and your lines are garbage. If I'd been the fucking guy that getting ready to die, I'd be like, just fucking kill me.
It's like
I'm done.
It's like going from Tobin Bell to a bag of sand. You ever feel a girl's boob and it just feels like a bag of sand?
It's still boob, but it's still a bag of sand.
What are you talking about, motherfucker? That's this movie. I give it a 3.
I'm gonna give this movie a
For
2.5. I fucking hated this movie. I enjoyed it for the soundtrack. I always love the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is creepy as fuck. I think it's cool. I think it's energetic. And I'll never forget the first scene of Saw when he's like game over. The very first movie and he like slams the door, that music comes on. It was amazing. That was a great thing. And the gore's good. The traps are very, very basic. They're not that cool. There are a few decent ones in there, but overall, it's still a turd. It's still a turd in the toilet that your mom didn't flush, and we don't like to have that.
We thought they were.
Don't like that. Everything they have built, we will tear it down.
So, comment down below with your all's thoughts if you've seen this movie. We love your fucking faces. Sorry, we wish we had better news for you. If you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button. Get some. Yeah! Damn, wham! I've been you, my children are asleep here. It's great.
Yeah, we have to be careful with what we say, but in the meantime, do you want to learn how to ride a bike?
Jay, put your dick away.
No.
For years,
What?
you pulled your dick out on camera.
I can't.
But today,
Yes.
don't.
Cut that, Michael.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.